Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome to Shakedown ACC PlayStation League's end of season event. Doing a Suzuka Shootout tonight. Thought we'd mix it up. No need to do Bathurst every time, and what better track to hit than one of the classics. So we've got 15 guys lining up tonight. Just going to finish off a little bit of pracky, just get in the zone. And then we're going to have one by one sent out in kind of what we see as reverse pace order, or just thereabouts. And hopefully we'll get a bit of a crescendo at the end. But you know, there's a lot of pressure with these shootout qualifying, and sometimes it's the top guy that invalidates the lap and ends up at the back of the field. So there's a lot of pressure in these sort of shootouts, so it's going to be a good one to watch for sure. We've got just under 5 minutes or so till we do the start of the qualifying, so let's go through a few awards. We've just finished our GT3 tour, season 5. You know, eight different locations across 10 races. Bloody good tour, really good involvement. We had 26 entrants across the 8 weeks, which is phenomenal. It's certainly our biggest entrant list, and it was a stonking competitive tour, massively. And the awesome thing is we've done a few People's Choice Awards. That's the first time we've done it. We've got all the guys to throw on their entrance, and we've got 5 different categories coming up for you tonight. And the first one that I would mention about is cleanest driver. Kind of speaks for itself, really. When you've got 20 odd guys breathing down your neck or thereabouts, it's very hard to keep things clean, and it takes a very clear mind and all that. And we had a pretty clear vote. This person is certainly one of the leaders of the tour, and no reason why. He keeps his nose clean and scores plenty of points as it. So congratulations to Bailey Stevens for being our season 5 cleanest driver. Outstanding all season, and certainly showed awareness and patience around cars. So great effort, Bailey, really appreciate it, and well done on the award. Notable mentions, a few votes there to myself, so thank you to those guys. Mr. Dave Holly and Jared Matterford as well also got some mentions there for cleanest driver. So well done, guys. Really appreciate the awareness, the patience, and the racecraft and the respect shown on track. Full credit to you. So I might do some of the other results throughout the night. Let's spread it out a little bit. So let's take a look at the circuit and see who's on track and have a chat about who we've got. So we've got Mark Ledwidge out on track. He drove the McLaren this season. He certainly had some troubles with his Fanatic gear, his wheel. The thing is, this guy was adjusting on the fly with a controller next to him with his rig because he's been having some trouble with the wheel. So, you know what, full credit to him. Did really well, and certainly got out there and tried his best with a tricky situation. I believe he's got a McLaren GT3 wheel on order, and we're just waiting for that one to come in. So, fingers crossed it comes soon, mate. Mr. Ash Dixie in the Nissan GTR did a few races at the start of the season. Yeah, looking forward to seeing Ash back in the GT3. Let's see how he goes, and when he's on, he's on. He can pull out these really good results when he's on his favourite track and favourite car, so let's see how we go. Glasso's parked in the gravel, we'll leave him alone, we'll come back to you, mate. Dylan Tui in the Bentley, one of the EBM boys, definitely had a mixed rookie season, but you know what, like came out with some really good results, which we'll go over later on in the evening. Les is one of our new trial drivers. It's his debut race with us tonight with Shakedown. So welcome to Les, and hope you have a good night hooning around in the BMW tonight. So we'll see how you go a bit later on. Haskins in the GTR also had some good results throughout the season. Jason Cutler, BMW again, in his Rabbitohs colourways. Looking great. And we've got the return of Richard Buxinski. So in the Aston Martin, as always, knows how to steer this beast, whereas I certainly struggled with it, and normally gets some pretty good results in it. So loves his AM, and great to have you back at Shakedown. And we got Ashley also joining us. Car 25 Bentley, and he's going to have a crack tonight, get settled in with Shakedown, and hopefully enjoys his night, and we'll see where we end up. And our favourite Spaniard, Alberto. Alberto will be our last shootout driver tonight. Getting loose there. Oh, brilliant. Of course the spotlight's on you, mate. That's pretty funny. Maybe that was stage fright. Alright, so the process tonight, guys, we're just going to have 1 minute neutral in the pits while the guys sort of work out their setup. First on track will be me old mate, Lloyd Pearce, all the way from Perth. Take a look at his car. Looks like he's in the Audi. And we'll see how you go. So he's just going to take a minute or so to get his setups all sorted. No pressure. Your first drive was Shakedown, and you sent out first cab off the rank. But all the best to you, mate. You'll do well, and I'm sure if people are patient throughout it, they'll get themselves a good result. Now, talking about the track itself, let's go back to the garage. Suppose we're going to have to stay in the pits because no one's on track. That's okay. We're looking at 5,807 meters and 18 corners. Okay, so I love Suzuka because it's such a challenge. And I suppose you hear a lot of drivers and stuff talking about it. It's feared as well. You know, it's challenging. It does offer passing opportunities at the ends of the straights, but also there's some corners you wouldn't dare go side by side through. So Suzuka's one of those sort of hold on, white knuckle ride sort of thing. It's going to be a good replacement for Bathurst for our shootout, I reckon. All right, so car 666 Audi's heading out to the pit lane. There will be a single outlap to warm his tyres and brakes and all that, and get ready in the zone, and away he goes. So just out on track now. Lloyd's still learning the ropes of ACC. As many of you know, ACC can be a pretty daunting process at the start. One thing we love to do at Shakedown is to really support our new drivers. and try and help them with things like setup or just generally understanding how the game works, whether it's pressures, pit stops, the many different formats that we throw at the drivers here at Shakedown. So yeah, we have a good community around us, and we're looking forward to building Lloyd up as well. So I'm going to pull out some pretty random facts tonight about Suzuka. Did you know you can get married at Suzuka? It has its own chapel, and then afterwards you're allowed to take a lap of the circuit. It's one of those things you can just imagine happening with the Japanese culture. Absolutely brilliant, and I can't understand why I didn't think of going and getting married at Suzuka myself. Good times. So there's plenty of bumps on the circuit, and you also find that the track widens and narrows in different places. It can really catch you out if you're driving side by side. So definitely something to watch for. You don't want to get caught out putting a tyre on the grass. Just heading around Spoon Curve now. I know for one, when I do my shootout laps, I'm normally well off the pace. You know, it's all good and well setting fast laps in practice, but when it comes down to it, yeah, it's hard work. The nerves get you. The nerves definitely get you. So we're just entering the chicane now, and he's about to wind up on his lap. Alright, so Lloyd Pearce, car 666, about to start his lap. Heading down the main straight, gets to around about 265 kilometres per hour. Looking for the entry lane on the left there, hitting the brakes down, and then normally the Audi stays in third here, sometimes second. Picks up the throttle a little bit. Now it's important to get the nose in here on this first apex, which really sets up the rest of the corners. Nice and tidy. It's all about being patient here, not overdoing it. And then you've really got to sort of tuck this one in here into the Geico bank and then up around Dunlop. You don't want to run wide there, you want to tuck it in tight. Up over the top of the hill into the braking zone of Degner 1. Very easy to lose the back end of the car over that inside curb. Degner 2, pick up the throttle, you can run on the AstroTurf a little bit here. Through the underpass, looking for your braking point for the hairpin. Always a tricky one. Trying to keep momentum but also rotating the car. A lot of bumps through here, so you're trying to get the power down, but there's bumps, a little bit of undulation. You're just trying to open up that steering, not steer too much, brake as late as you dare, and it's all about just carrying the speed around the spoon. He's done that well, he's clean so far. Down the straight. Into 130R. Normally it's just a quick dab down, back on the throttle. He's staying clean. He wants to land this lap, which is absolutely brilliant. Into the chicane. Staying well off the curbs, doesn't want to spin it. Nicely done. And the run to the line. The finish line's further down here. There we go, so a 2:07.0. Alright. Leo Dreyer in the Audi, about to start his lap. One of the new trial drivers for this evening. Down into the first corner, heading it nice and fast. Ease off the brakes. Bit of a late apex there, run it out wide to the green. Nicely done. Another Audi. Super patient through the S-bends. Over Gaiku. Tuck in the nose here. Nicely done. You want to get a good run up Dunlop. This is where you can win or lose. Gain some time through here. That's a bit more aggressive over the curves. You can really throw it if you get the car balanced well. Nice exit on Digna too. Into the hairpin. Pretty late. Can he pull it up? That's okay. A lot of the F1 cars don't always put the apex there. There's definitely an argument you can carry the speed through slightly off the apex using the camber of the circuit. Opening up around. This one's 200R, a bit of a lesser known name. Into Spoon. Oh, a little bit of wobble there. He holds it. He holds it. It's still clean. Let's see his line through 130R. Nicely done. Braking as late as possible. And the run for the line through the last turn. .204.5 is the new time to beat. Alright, we've got the first of our tour drivers. We've got Jason Cutler here in the BMW car 16. Jason's best result was 8th in our last event of the tour. An 8th place at Kyalami, which was our Queen stage, our variable weather. And he pulled off green points at the end to make quite a big jump on the table. So well done, mate, on that 8th place. Nice and clean, nice and steady. You rarely steer with the throttle through those corners. You can just work on your oversteer, understeer. Second gear, that would be what I'd use as well to rotate the car. And then on the power up the hill, you can definitely head over to the left-hand side to cut yourself a bit of track. Into Digna 1. That's it, using all the track, good line. Tuck it in, brilliantly done. That'll be the cleanest Digna I've seen tonight so far. The BMW is such a beast. It does sound great. It's got a really gnarly sort of engine note. That's brilliant. Good fun. Into Spoon. Turn 13. It's all about carrying speed deep into the second one, dropping down into second. And the off-camber exit really over-rotates the car, so you can straighten it quite a bit earlier than what you suspect. It's also a danger of spinning out on that corner if you steer further. Drop down a gear on the 50-metre board. That's it. Run it wide. And then braking in between the 150 and the 100. Nice and deep. Oh, too deep. And he is unvalidated, unfortunately. Tough luck, bud. Gets to all of us. Alright, next up we have James Glassington. Glasso also had a great Kyalami. He had a fifth place in Brands Hatch, but also scored awesome points for 7th in Kyalami and jumped up, ended up 11th in the tour standings. Apologies, I didn't mention that Jason Cutler was 17th. So Glasso's just about to start his lap now. He finished 11th in the tour. Really good progression, Glasso. Really good progression. Alright, so heading down to turn 1. Looking for that braking zone. So brake, then down 2 gears normally, and then further braking down down into second. He chooses to continue on in third. Very close to invalidating there. Running the Ferrari Evo 488 GT3. It's got really good legs on the straight. Very aero-dependent car. As long as you've got your balance right, this thing's an absolute beast. I've certainly driven it for a few seasons and I love it. Fits me like a glove, and I think it fits Glasso as well. The one thing about ACC, you've got to find a car that suits you. Into Digna too. Let's see how he launches over. Oh, almost lost the back end then. Down into the hairpin. Now I remember Martin Brundle telling me there's a whole lot of giant spiders and snakes on the jungle section just on the left hand side here. Not what you would have thought would be at Suzuka, but there you go. Giant spiders and snakes. So foot to the floor through 200R, heading up the spoon, braking before the right hand side exit line. Tucking it around, being patient here, no throttle until you need it. Oh, he's invalidated. Alright, we're going to head to Dylan Tui, EBM driver, car 774 in the Bentley. Had a mixed bag in the season. Certainly got caught out with some unlucky incidents. A lot not from his own doing. Just got caught up in the washing machine that is the back of the grid. But also had some great results. He got himself a pole at Alton Park. And also won silver at Laguna Seca with a 6th place. So certainly had some real highlights of the season. So really good rookie season, and it's awesome that you've joined Shakedown. So just starting up his lap now. Let's just get on a half decent view. Big legs, super overpowered. The Bentley, one would argue. The BOP settings certainly pegged it back for 2020, but yeah, some of the boys still think it's pretty quick. But hey, everyone's allowed to choose it, and they don't, so that's up to them. Beast over curbs, lots of power for these straights. Through the S-bends he goes, up into Gaiaku. It's important to tuck the nose right in there so you get a good entry into Dunlop, because up that hill it just sucks all the speed out of you. Up into Degner. Over the curb, there you go. See, it rides it so nicely. Exit. Through the underpass, that's where the track goes over. That's one of the only figure of 8 circuits in the world. I believe the original plans of Suzuka had 3 different overpasses, and then they thought maybe they were going a little bit ridiculous and pegged it back a little bit. Dylan's keeping it on the circuit well here. Let's see how he goes through spoon. Hanging on to it. Down the straight. Now 130R, that was reprofiled in 2003 after 2 massive accidents. But it's, as you can still see in a GT car, it is still an absolute challenge to get right. You can lose the back end very easily. Yeah, it takes some guts because you've got to get the power down to get your aero balance and your diffuser reconnected. So Dylan landed a clean lap here, well done mate, and let's see, oh, actually he's invalidated. I did miss where he invalidated, I'm sorry to say. 2055 would have been his time. Shane Mitchell, Mr. EBM himself. The 488 Evo. Shane finished up in 15th place for the season. Got himself 2 poles at Brands Hatch and also Laguna Seca. a career best, you could say, a season best of an 8th place at Paul Ricard at our first endurance race. So it's often the case. Trying to just settle into a longer race can normally help guys. I certainly know that I drive better in the longer races rather than sprint. You can settle in and you normally pick up through a bit of attrition and consistent driving. So heading on up through Dunlop, the exit of Dunlop here, braking just before the 50, throw it in over the curb. Ferrari's not great on curbs, but if you get the throttle down quick enough, you can normally land it. Heading up to the hairpin, braking probably just before the edge of the ripple strip on the right. You want to slam that power down as quickly as you can, but confidently, because you definitely don't want to lift and then plant it down again. 200R, lots of bumps, a little bit of undulation. Braking before the right hand exit line. This is clean. Good exit on Spoon. Currently 1.2 seconds down on Ashley, but that should still get him a okay position. Oh, he's committed. That was brilliant. That's the best through 130R we've seen so far. Yep, good aggression over the curbs. You've just got to stay off this one here because there's a nasty little bump there just on the exit. Well done. Landed a lap, and I believe he's had minimal practice, so well done. Actually, he's done a 2:04.3. So he's beaten Ashley's time by 0.2 of a second. Well done. Alright, next man on the track. We have our silver class champion, Mr. Dave Holly. Had a brilliant season, really consistent. Just chipped away, came into only 3rd in silver class until the Queen stage in Kyalami. Nice and patient through there. Once again, the Audi using 3rd gear. I think the gearbox is just better suited to run that gear, a little bit more stable. With the mid-engine as well, it can kick out, so super clean. So Dave ended up 6th in the championship. Obviously he had his win, which was a 2nd place in Kyalami, but also ran pretty solidly throughout the season, points in every round, which there weren't too many drivers that actually did that, and of course a well-deserved silver class champion. So heading on up to the hairpin, running a little deep, rotates it still, and away he goes. Haskins saying he's been lucky enough to have a lap in a GT3 Audi around Suzuka as a passenger, one of the best tracks in the world. Solid. I'm jealous. That's massive. I'd even do it in a Honda Legend if I could. Alright, 130R, let's see how he goes. So he's up to 250 clicks. Drops down to about 210. Power back on. Looking for the braking point. Riding over the curbs. 1, 2, careful on the exit. Staying away from that last little edge of the curb. Little bit of a wobble on exit there. Takes 3rd place with a 2:04.758. Good clean lap there. Alright, Mark Ledwidge, McLaren. Winding up here, so Mark ended up the season in 12th place. Ended up with a 4th place around Silverstone. Really solid effort there. That was our open 1 hour race. So heading into turn 1. aiming in for the inside. Yeah, it's okay to drift out as long as you come in tight for the second one, which he does. He does that very well. Coming in for the start of the S's, does he line it up? Good line. The McLaren's got beautiful handling. Does have a tendency for the back end to be a little bit lively, but if you've got the right setup, you know how to do it, know how to drive it, use the throttle, it's a brilliant car. Up and over Dunlop, that's very clean. We're on to a good lap so far. Heading up to Digna 1. Braking before the 50, dropping down a gear, sometimes 2. Just the 1, so he chooses to carry better speed. Just misses the apex a little bit at Digna 2. Heading on up to the hairpin. Digna used to be a single fast corner. But in the 60s there was a very, very bad motorcycle crash. A driver by the name of Ernst Digna, and unfortunately he did pass away whilst driving for the Suzuki team. Now the Suzuki team is fierce rivals with Honda, who own this track, but out of respect Honda decided to call it after the Suzuki driver because of obviously the loss of life, and they made changes to the circuit in the 60s afterwards to make it Digna 1 and Digna 2, named in his honour. Down to 130R, let's see how Mark goes. 154, really good legs on the McLaren, and he turns it as well. He would have definitely made some gains down there, fastest through 130R so far. Good over the Casio triangle. Just trying to get the front wheels to turn in so you don't run all the way to the far end of the track so that you finish your lap. That's a great lap by Mark. Fourth, 206.258. Certainly looked clean, consistent. Did what he needed to do. Coming up with Mark Haskins in the GTR. Albert says McLaren has the best dash and sound of the game, in my opinion. Yeah, it sure does, mate. Sounds great. Alright, down into turn 1. Mark ended up the season 16th place. He had himself 2 wins. And he had a win at Zandvoort. Oh, he's invalidated. Not good. He has not done well. Alright, we'll jump on to whip attack. Alright. I believe one of the EBM boys, and new for us tonight, Ashley is his name, and will be hopefully joining Shakedown going forward. So he's just going to be warming up his tyres, getting settled in. While we do that, I'll just quickly go through Haskins' results. So he won in Zandvoort, first round out for silver, and he also Brands Hatch silver win as well. That was also his best result in it, with a 4th place by winning Brands Hatch 1. Also took silver pole at Silverstone. So definitely had some good results there, and some things to be proud of with the tour, mate. So well done, finishing in 16th place overall, but of course missing a couple of rounds in the process. So Ashley's in the Bentley here. As mentioned earlier, pretty good around the curbs, great front end, lots of power, lots of grunt. Definitely a driver favourite. Chris Butt says the S's are a huge pain in the backside. Nah, mate, you love them. You love them. One of the best tracks in the world, mate. Alright, starting up a lap. Let's see how he goes. Suzuka's also got its own fun fair. It's called Motopia. And it's just on the right hand side of the screen there. You can see a big fun fair Ferris wheel. They have everything from sort of hot springs to all those sort of, fairground rides and stuff like that. They really put it on in Japan. Always riding the curbs really aggressively here through the S's, and maybe paying for it, maybe putting a little bit too much pressure through the front end. Oh, he's gone wide and he's invalidated. This is the thing with shootouts. It can really get you. The pressure to really perform over just setting a lap. All right, next cab off the ranks, we got Ben Sherman, number 35, obviously in the Ferrari again. We had a lot of Ferraris this season. Brilliant car. So Ben went into the final season as one of the silver class protagonists, and definitely ran really well in Kailami. But being a variable server that ended up flooded, he was, along with many of the other guys, to cop it a little bit, and didn't quite land those points that he needed to come away with the silver class win, but certainly had a great season throughout and was definitely one of the leaders. So had 3 silver wins and 3 silver poles. The poles were at Paul Ricard, Brands Hatch and Kailami. And then had Alton Park, Paul Ricard and Brands Hatch wins. So you can see there he had an awesome season with a best of a 4th at Paul Ricard. Did really well in his debut season, and yeah, we can see the upward curve of his skills. I reckon he can only improve more. Definitely see it. So just starting his lap now. Heading down into turn 1. Getting nice and close to that inner curve, bringing it out wide, and then second gear. A little bit tentative on getting the power down there, but just wanted to make sure he was clean before he did so. Just floating through, a little bit of throttle, just to keep the car moving. Got to be super patient up here to Gaiaku. Good choice of gears. Oh, he pushed a little bit too hard on the throttle there, which pushed him out wide. But he still managed to get the nose in for Dunlop. Get on the power. Up over 200 clicks for Digna 1. Over the curb, well done. Oh! And he's gone. He's overdone it. Big pressure. Alright, we're up to Les, our 3rd trial driver for the night. Les joins us from another league, Go to Woe. I believe he had some pace about him, but you know, we'll see over the course of the coming month if and when he joins Shakedown. Hopefully you enjoy yourself tonight and join us, mate. In the BMW. So let's see how we can hustle the Beamer around. I'm yet to see huge results in the M6. I think we're all waiting keenly for the M4 to come out. But hey, I can be proven wrong, absolutely. Yeah, Alberto's commenting about the pressure. There is definitely a lot of pressure out on the circuit. Do not underestimate how much your heart is exploding through your chest when you know you've got the eyes of the rest of the grid sitting in pit lane and you're the only car on track. Big pressure. Through Casio, he's warmed up his tyres, ready to go. It's all about just telling yourself in your head it's okay to drop a few tenths, it's okay to drop that half a second, just stay on the track, make the lap count, otherwise you'll be starting at the back. And Suzuka is definitely one of those tracks. So left hand side, entry road there is your braking point, bringing it out wide, definitely pulled it up, feeding it out, getting the throttle down. Through the S-bend, just using the throttle to steer once again. Up over the crest. This first section is all about patience. You cannot overdrive the car through there. Now you can start getting a bit more aggressive. Put the power down, really go for it. If you're confident through the diggers, you can really throw it through. That's it. Brake's pretty late there. Run it out wide as long as there's one tyre still on the track. Power down and clean. Try and navigate your way through this long sweeper. Just trying not to scrub any speed off. Really, really small inputs into the steering wheel. Picking your braking zone to spoon. All about just making sure you carry speed into this final apex. And then power down. The car rotates by itself, as I've mentioned before. See how he goes through 130R. Looking for his braking point into Casio. Takes a bit of curb. Oh, he's had a little bit of a wobble on exit. Was it that? It was that curb. Just on the right hand side there's a little bump, and if you catch it, it'll just throw the car. So it's worth giving a little bit of space. He comes over the line for a 206.921. Puts himself 5th on the grid so far. Alright. Richard's back with Shakedown. He's spent some time with the Ruse League, who also race on Tuesdays, so this is an opportunity for him to jump on a Thursday with us. So brilliant to have you back with us at Shakedown, mate. Lining up for turn 1. In the Aston Martin. I expect a good lap here, Richard. Always been a good steerer. Knows how to run it out wide there, get the nose in nice and tight, very clean. Sets you up, good line. That's it. Be patient through here. You can take a little bit of curb here, and then head over to the right hand side, line up the entry, and power down all the way. Up to about 220 or so for Degner. Takes a bit of curb, that's it, brilliant done. Carries lots of speed through Degner too. Looking for his braking point for the hairpin. Can he get it rotated? Yes he can. He's confident on the accelerator as well. A little bit of a breather before the braking zone to the spoon. That's it. Carries lots of speed round to turn 14. Very nicely done. I think we're on for a hot lap here. I might have just cursed him. Albert says, good to see Bruce back with us. Absolutely it is. It's like you've come home, mate. Carries lots of speed through 130R down into the Casio corner. One curb, two curb, power down, stay clean, and you're home. The Aston took that curb quite nicely. He's kept it in tight, going for the shortest run to the line. Heading down to the green lights here. What's it going to be? He's put in a 202.373 to put himself on provisional pole. Very well done, mate. Alright, so we have our final driver of the night. We have Alberto. Alberto had a great season for the majority of the races, and then had some really unlucky business with his wheel mucking around, and also he had, sorry, something weird going on with Alberto's helmet showing up on screen. Let's get rid of that. Don't want your helmet on the shot, mate. Yeah, he had a mixed bag. He had some really competitive drives, good drives in Zandvoort, podium, had the win at Brands Hatch, the second sprint race, and had poles at Paul Ricard and Brands Hatch as well. So, definitely one of the lead drivers of our league. And if he hadn't have had those unlucky situations, whether it was Alton Park with his wheel mucking around, and I think that Paul Ricard as well sent him off while he was leading the race. So we all know where he should be on the table, and we'll look towards the next series and hopefully have a bit better luck, mate. So he's just prepping his car in his Ferrari 488 Evo. Getting ready to wind up. Let's see how you go, mate. You've got a 202 to beat, 202.3. Sixth gear, 260 clicks, super decent on the brakes. He's taken that very nicely down into second. Just loses the apex a little bit on turn 2. Looking into the S's. Nice and aggressive, really gets the turn in going. Choosing to drop down into second place to get the rotation on the car. That's it, comes nice and wide and brings it around. He's creeping out right. He's managed to hold it. The run up to Degner. He's up for an aggressive one, I think. Oh, he's invalidated. He's not happy. He's not happy. The pressure's got to him. The pressure's got to a lot of them. And that's totally understandable. Alright, so here we go, the end of qualifying. So we've got Richard takes pole position, 2.373. Shane Mitchell in second place, front row. First front row for Shakedown. Leo in the second row with Dave Holly, Mark Lebwidge and Les in the third row. Lloyd Pierce also lands a lap, well done. Really good driving. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers failing to land a lap, going to show how high pressure Suzuka is. Possibly even more carnage than what we've seen at Bathurst before. So let's go through some of these other awards while we've got time. We've just got to wait for this time to run down a little bit. So the next People's Choice Award is the most aggressive driver. Don't really want to talk about this too much, but we thought we'd throw it in there just to put the cat amongst the pigeons, so to speak. But that goes to Robert McMahon, gets awarded most aggressive driver for season 5. And Alberto also got a mention with a few votes as well. Look, I'm sure there's no malice involved, but that was the votes that were added up. Before I say anything else awkward, I'm going to move swiftly on. So the unluckiest driver was also voted for. Okay, so over the course of the 8 rounds and the 10 races, there was obviously a lot of going on. We're pretty proud of how clean the league is, but also just every now and then someone will be on for a good result and they might get a disconnect or they might have an incident and they've just seen all those points run away from them. So that's actually been voted for Dylan Tui as the most unluckiest driver, joint equal with Alberto, both on 3 votes. I got a mention as well, and so did James Glassington. But that award is split between Dylan Tui and Alberto Fernandez. Most improved. Now, I reckon this is the best People's Choice vote of the night, I reckon. We're all about building up our guys and all about using the community to do that. So most improved goes to Chris Butt with a very big number of the votes. So really well done, and we've seen it. We've seen your attitude in the chat and asking and seeking out answers to your questions, and the results have really shown on track as well. So very well done. Special mentions to James Glassington, second in the votes, and also Ben Sherman. You guys have all improved so well throughout the course of the season, so very well done, gentlemen. And then lastly, to the best overtaker, a real mix of votes as well. Thank you guys. You've voted me as the best overtaker, so I do appreciate the votes. Alberto coming in second, Bailey, Haskins, and Dave all getting mentions also. So that's it. That's the People's Choice Award. There is one other award that we will be doing over the course of the next few days, and that is the Shakedown Best and Fairest. That's a admin voted award for both the GT3 and the GT4 leagues, so two separate awards, and that'll be announced in the coming days. And that one is myself, Dave, and Glasso looking at who's driven well in each of the races. So collated over the course of 2 seasons and will be announced in the next few days. Guys, there's 1 minute and 43 until we go to the grid. I'm just going to go and grab myself a quick drink, and I'll be back shortly. So we've just got a 90-second wait on the grid. We're just going to do a short formation lap. Tonight's racing itself will consist of 3 sprint races. The first one is what we call at Shakedown a micro sprint. It is a 10-minute race, but there is a pit stop in it for 1 litre of fuel. It is fast, it is furious. You're allowed to pit on any lap you want, providing you don't pit on the last lap and obviously don't complete the tour of pit lane. So you might see guys ducking into the pits on the first tour around the circuit. You might see guys hanging out all the way to the end, just trying to get that sneaky advantage rather than going back into traffic. They're good fun. Micro sprint, 10 minute.
30 seconds.
Then it'll be followed by a 20 minute, and then another micro sprint, 10 minutes. So we've got 3 races coming tonight. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good. We're currently watching Shane Mitchell in P2. Bruce is obviously on the inside. Richard Buksinski, and this will be great. Now, I don't believe I can return to garage just yet. I've just got to wait for the race to start, and then we're good to go. So the drivers are just starting up their engines, selecting their fuel, and getting ready to go. We've had one driver drop back into pit lane. I think that was Leo. He might not have started his car or chosen his setup. That's okay. He'll get another 2 chances tonight in the other races. So the key is here to just absolutely run your brakes hot to try and push some temperature into your tyres. The first lap they are not going to have optimum pressures. Really nice colourway on Richard's Aston Martin. That's beautiful with the dark blue and then the gold. Really good looking car, almost royal. EBM colours next to him. Maybe only about 200 metres from the start, and we're looking for the green lights. Cars 2x2 all lined up, ready to go. We've got Alberto at the back, furious that he didn't settle up.
Green light. Show them what you got.
And they're off. Let's watch turn 1, see how we go. So Richard on the inside, Shane on the outside, Dave putting a nose in. Shane's taking the lead. Can he hold it? Yes, he can. Dave followed by Mark, the 2 Marks actually in 3rd and 4th. Great run by Shane. Richard will be hot on his heels though. He won't be standing for that. Dave's there as well, super consistent. It'll be interesting to see who jumps into the pits at the end of this first lap. Probably only going to get 5 laps, so there's not going to be many opportunities to take the pit stop. Very aggressive over Degner. They're both pushing hard. These two seem to be making a little bit of gap on the rest. Alberto's made great progress. I think he's in about 5th or 6th place so far. So we've got Dave, Haskins, Mark Legwidge, Alberto. Alberto's just got him. So he's up into 5th. Ashley making progress. Sherman. Les is there in the Beamer, followed by the 2nd Beamer of Jason. Dylan. Glasso's there. Lloyd's there. And Leo's chasing hard. He'll come through. So let's watch what happens at the front with these pit stops. Richard's right there. I'm going to guess that Richard's going to do whatever Shane doesn't do. Haskins is about 1 second behind. It looks like he was going side by side with Alberto then. Alberto's got him. Looks like these two have stayed out. Haskins, Dave into the pits. Ben into the pits. Everyone else is staying out. Shane holds on at the front. Just take note on who comes out first in the pits. Will it be Haskins? Will it be Dave? Big pressure to drop a second or so. Haskins is pulled over. Not sure why. No, that was the pit lane. It looked like he was hitting the barrier then. Looks like Dave's come out first. Alright, all cars out. Ben Sherman's picked himself up a stop-go penalty. Oh, and there's a pass for the lead. A lot going on here. Leo's still in the pits. He might have taken too much fuel. Alberto's pushing hard for Shane now. Let's head back. He's got the inside run out of Spoon. Side by side. Oh, Shane's got out on the marbles. That won't help him at all. He's still driving super well. Right with Alberto, down through 130R. Absolutely flying through there. Let's go for a lap with Alberto. through Casio corner. He doesn't have the pressure of the shootout now. He can just set his eyes on chasing down Richard. Let's see if anyone ducks into the pits. Yeah, looks like Shane stuck into the pits. Down to the first turn. He's pushing hard, you can tell. He's starting to just overdo it on the tyres, which you can do on such a short race, of course. Lots of guys into the pits now. Shane's in, Dylan's in, Lloyd's in. And we've got Dave and Haskins coming through Casio corner now. Let's have a quick look. So Dave. The first of the pitted runners. Let's see who comes out where. And these guys have come through.
Halfway mark.
There's no overcut. So they are our lead pitted drivers. Looks like Shane's coming behind. So Haskins and Dave have jumped third place so far. So provisional third. Let's head back to the battle here. Watch Alberto. See how close he gets him. Chris says cue the Dave Holly special pit lap 1. It end up first or second. Well, it's not far from the truth, mate. It's all about just picking the battles, knowing where to find space in these micro sprints. Probably only got 2 laps to go. So is one of these guys going to pit now? Or Alberto will leave it to the last lap. He always does. He's a last lap special. Spaniard. Neither in the pits, so both are going to go duke it out in the pits for the last lap. Let's go down. So into the pits comes Ashley from third place. Mark's also pitting. Glasso's continuing. No, pits, sorry. Alright, let's get into a more favourable view. Good little battle going on here between Haskins and Dave. Let's watch this for a bit. We've got movement out of the pits already with Ashley. He's made good progress. This could be very close. Side by side. Oh, Dave around the outside. Very nicely done by Dave Holly. Very nice. Rui, Les. Glasso's still sitting in the pits. He's lost some time there. Lloyd Pierce chasing down Jason Cutler. Alright, let's head back up front. This is looking pretty tasty. These guys surely will have to jump into the pits this round. Alberto's having a look down into Casio. Maybe, I think it's just a fake, just to try and unsettle him. Surely both into the pits here, there we go. So it's going to be a straight duke out by the pit crews. And how good they are at turning off their engine and turning it back on again. Making sure they stop right on their marks, because you can drop a second or two if you don't. And so we've got Dave and Haskins coming down the straight towards 130R now.
Right, man, leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
I should think Alberto and Bruce will continue on their way unchallenged, but this is definitely a good little duke out, these three. This is very close. Bruce still takes it. the cars behind are going to be on hot, warm tyres. So these cars in the front here will definitely bleed a few seconds. Richard's come back out in the lead. Through the S's here, let's keep a close eye on this one because Alberto's only got this lap to do it. Oh, he's pushing hard, Richard. Alberto would have to take some pretty big risks to catch up here. Alright, I'm just going to drop back and see what's happening with Dave holding off Ash and Haskins. It's a good little battle. Oh, could be side by side here. No, Ash knows. Just unfortunately, we have James Glassington sitting in the gravel on the outside of the last corner, so there'll be no passing there unless he gets off the track. Hopefully he does. Let's just see what's happening with the leaders. Yeah, status quo there. What's going to happen here down into the braking zone? Oh, that was close. He was pushing hard. Will Dave get a clean run? The Bentley's going to be chomping at him. Haskins cuts the corner a little bit. Dave takes third. So Richard, Alberto, Dave, your podium. Ash, good race by him and Haskins. Dave, good fun. Mark Legwidge comes back in 6th, Dylan 7th, Les comes home in 8th. Good running early on by Shane, bit unlucky in the pits, I reckon. It might have missed his pit box. Urban, Jason Cutler, Lloyd, Leo, Glassos, maybe. Yeah, he took the checkered flag, so he's come home in 13th. And Sherman got himself a stop-go penalty, so he's called it quits, and he'll fight in race 2. Well, that was a bit of excitement, really. I love the micro sprints; they're so good. And I reckon I'll pick the best battle of that one. I'm going to vote that to positions 3rd to 5th with Dave, Mark Haskins, and Ashley. Great battle there, and yeah, it's I'm sure that'll continue on in the next 2 races as well. If you're watching and you're mucking around on the live chat, let me know who you think will win the next race, whether Alberto will have enough time to come up through and get Richard this time, with the next race is a 20-minute race. Let me know what you think. Let me know whether Shane's going to hold off better and have a cleaner pit stop. And if there's anyone else that is worth giving a shout for who you think might come up for a good result in the 20-minute sprint race coming up. Right, race 2. 20 minutes this time, so slightly less hectic. Guys can be a little bit more paced, you could say. Go into it, just get their tyres up, maybe stretch out their stint before they pit. I'd imagine it's going to be a 10 or 11 lap race. Yeah, it might actually bring out a different set of results. Obviously, we've still got the shootout qualifying there, so you've got some of the faster guys at the back, whether it's Ashley, whether it's Alberto, Ben Sherman, starting from the back of the grid. And then obviously you've got up front guys that, or at least in the middle, that wouldn't normally be there. So it'll be a good mix of challenges, I think, throughout the next 20 minutes. And I'm expecting a different result. I'm going to say it. I reckon Alberto might have enough time to not over-abuse his tyres this time and actually really pressure Richard.
10 seconds.
The Ferrari should have better power against the Aston Martin. It's one of its weaknesses is a little bit of lack of power out of corners, so you've got to make sure you carry the speed through the apex. We've got a car headed back to the pits, so it looks like that's Ashley this time, having a bit of trouble with starting. I think it was Leo last time, so each of the trial guys I think is having a turn at starting in the pits. It'll be just not turning on your engine in time. If you haven't started your engine by the time the timer runs out, it does teleport you back to the pits and you do a start about 20 seconds behind the field. You can definitely catch back. It's not a huge penalty, but it just takes you out of that first aggressive approach into turn 1. So Chris reckons Alberto with a bruiser for the trifecta. I'd love Shane to get a podium too. He's still got 2 chances, mate, so he might do it. There goes your trifecta. Oh, it's a 20-minute race, mate. It could still happen yet. So we're just coming up to the line now, about to get the green light to see the field run down to turn 1 for the 20-minute sprint race.
Green light, green light.
Green we go. Let's see, Bruce should probably hold. Yeah, so he's going to hold this one a little bit better this time. As long as Shane gets it turned in. So Bruce has actually taken a drive-through. He might have been speeding over the line there. So that's going to take him out of contention. So that's going to put Shane into the lead of the race once more. Dave in second, Leo third. And we've got Les there in the BMW in 4th as well. So let's head back to the pits, have a bit of a look at what's going on. There's Lloyd's there, just pressuring Dylan Toohey. Car off track, Les is off track. Lloyd's managed to hold it. There's a bit of compression. Alberto's touched up the side of Lloyd, but I'm sure that wasn't deliberate. Now Alberto's off. I tell you what, I thought the guys were going to be a bit more taking it easier into the slightly longer race, but how they have proven me wrong. And oh no, we've got contact between Lloyd Pearce and Alberto Fernandez. That's not good. We've got cars scattered everywhere. We've got a drive-through at the front, and we've got Mr. EBM Motorsports, Shane Mitchell leading the race, with Dave Holly, Silver Class Champion, following. Leo Dreyer in the Audi R8 Evo in a solid 3rd place, or provisional 3rd once it all filters out. Richard will have 3 laps to take his drive-through. He could still come back, drive through. It is one of the longer pit lanes in the circuit. It does hold a pretty high penalty. We've got Dave here really pressuring for the 2nd place, which will end up being 1st. Watch on board. They're going to hunt or be hunted here. They're about sort of in between the 3 of them here. Sort of spaced out. Let's head back down the field. So we've got a couple of cars already taking to the pit lane. We've got Alberto taking an early pit, Les, Jason. Glasso pressuring Ben Sherman. Dylan Tui there in effectively 4th place. Leo's getting a bit closer. Dave. Yeah, Leo putting a fair bit of pressure here on Dave right now. Audi v Audi. It'll all come down to the driver. This one's getting pretty close. Let's ride with Leo. Take a look at the Suzuka circuit on board the number 70 Audi R8. See what he can do. Richard's of course going to have to enter pit lane twice, so that's really going to set him back, which will bring these cars back into play for what will effectively be the race win. Still 16 minutes on the clock though, so a long way to go. Welcome Scotty, you made it to the live chat. Throw in any comments you want, what you're thinking about the race, and I'll try and read them out, mate. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Scott races with us at the GT4, another highly valued Shakedown member, mate, so great to have you on board. Joel Height saying that's how Alberto won most aggressive, I reckon. Yeah, he didn't win it, but he got a couple of votes, but he drives with his heart on his sleeve, we'll say. So, we have got Leo not fighting Dave, but choosing to jump in the pits. Let's see if Dave covers it. He might choose to stay out and keep fighting Shane, or he might pit to cover Leo. So this is going to be really interesting whether go for the undercut or the overcut here. Of the pitted drivers, we've got Les back in 10th place there. And he has Alberto all over him. So it'd be interesting to see whether these guys can just run clean laps and try and make progress, or whether they're going to battle and whether they're going to shell time off each other. So that's Leo coming out of the pits, and there you go, so Alberto and Les have jumped him. So these guys really are going to be driving for the race win now. Alberto versus Les. Because when these guys pit, unless Leo had a slow pit stop, when these guys pit, they should filter in behind Alberto and Les as well, but we'll see when that happens and what happens. So we got Mark Ledwidge pressuring Dylan Tui here. No, Glasso actually. Okay, so Glasso's here and it's not really telling me the correct amount. Apologies. We'll just watch Glasso with Mark Ledwidge behind him through 130R, keeping his foot down, 210 kilometers per hour. So Richard has now chosen to take his drive-through at the end of the 3rd lap, which he must do, so we'll keep an eye on where he filters out here. I'm sure he'll make his way up the field in some sense or another. So where does he slot out? Slots out behind the last of the unlapped drivers, but he's still within contact, and 13 minutes on the clock, he can still make this happen. Alberto's got Les. Leo's keeping in touch. So Alberto's absolutely going for it here for the race win. We've had an incident here. Is that share me? It is. He had an off for the Exeter Digna 1. Let's see what happens here. He's gone. Not having the greatest luck tonight. This is second incident in 2 races. Cutting back on board with your race leader. So he's made a good little gap back to Dave. We're riding with Dave right now, 1.3 seconds. Looks a little bit more than that now. Dave might have had a little bit of a loss of time, and we've got Dylan pushing for the second spot, trying to put pressure on Dave here. See how the Bentley rides over these curbs like Teflon. Just unfair. It's like a hovercraft. I reckon the Bentley would be the best over curbs, and I drive the Ferrari, which is one of the worst. So yeah, when I watch this, I just can't believe it. And the car barely even moves when you go over those bumps. Dylan's really putting some pressure here on Dave. Driving really well. Long way to go as well. 11 minutes left. So we should, we should probably see this continue on quite some time, unless one of them decides to take that pit stop. Dave hasn't done his typical jump into the pits first lap. Maybe you saw your comments, Haskins. Thought he'd mix it up. Dylan's overcooked it a little bit, lost the back end into Digna 2. Ashley's there as well, keeping in contact. And they're actually just coming up on some lap cars as well. So let's see how that plays out. Always important to be patient around approaching the slower cars. And Lloyd obviously had a bit of trouble in the first lap, ending up in the gravel, so that's where he's lost his time. I think we've got into the pits, Shane Mitchell. He's headed back to 12th. Not too sure what's gone on there, but my timing screen tells me he's dropped from first all the way back. We'll just keep an eye on that. I'll just see if that is actually true. It does look like he's maybe had a bit of an issue, but we'll see. But Dave is running ahead with Dylan behind, Ash in third, Glasso in fourth, and with Bruce already on his tail. One of them's gonna, well, both of them has to take the pits, I think. Yeah, so Richard's chosen to take his pit stop now, hopefully to find some clear air, to try and jump some of these cars that he wouldn't normally battle, to try and get as far up the grid as possible. So Alberto leads by what is, I believe, 8 seconds, if not more. Stunning drive, passes Bruce in the pits, and that is obviously a lap. No, that is actually for position, passing him in the pits. So we can sort of now see how much time Richard lost with that drive through. So it's the best part of maybe almost a whole sector. But he's come out behind Les, so he's still in contention there. I reckon we could still see a podium out of Richard with 8 minutes still on the clock, plus a lap. Joel's saying, I think it was Shane who crashed off before, not Shermy. With all you guys running the same livery, I must admit it's a little bit tricky. So this is a good little battle pack. It does look like it's maybe getting a little bit more compressed. And I think Ashley is starting to pressure Dylan. I'm going to guess these guys are fighting for around about 4th or 5th. So both Dave and Dylan into the pits. Ash stays out. Just right on board for a lap with Ash. See how the Bentley's favouring around at least the first half of the lap. Beautiful. Didn't even look like he made an adjustment on the steering or the throttle. Just on rails once again. The difference of driving in a race where you've got a few laps under your belt rather than going out, sitting in a pit lane for 20 minutes waiting for your turn and doing one lap and remembering how much grip you had. So we're definitely seeing the guys really put their best foot forward with handling now. They certainly know how to steer these cars around this track. Flipping the apex there, beautifully done under the underpass, heading on up to the hairpin. Does look like Dave has retained his position ahead of Dylan. Going through the S's now, we'll come back to them shortly. Spoon, braking 3rd, looking for 2nd gear here. If he chooses to take it, yes he does. The 2nd gear kicks in the preload diff and just helps the car rotate a little bit more. Yeah, that's correct. There's one more race after this, Scotty. There's another 10-minute micro sprint after this, so this is just to mix it up, put a 20-minute in there, and then one more 10-minute after this, and then we'll call it quits. Over the curbs of Casio. I reckon it's a pretty clean race. Shane's had an incident with the barrier. I reckon he's caught that curb. And that finishes the lap. A 2030. So we'll just run through the grid here. So we've got Ash leading the way, 7 laps on the date lap now. Still 5 minutes to go, still plenty of time to find that pit stop option. Well, so 18 seconds back behind, but still running a good clean race. Just looking for that consistency to pick up a few. Legwidge is just headed into the pit, so we've got a little bit of a shuffle. So Alberto slots into 3rd place, which I'd imagine will fall into race lead eventually. Dave, Holly, running in behind Alberto, still holding that 2nd place, which is brilliant. And Dylan pushing really, really hard. I think Dave's had the heat of both the races so far. Leo in the Audi, followed by Les. So Mark's come back out in 8th place, which I believe will be effectively 6th. And Richard chasing hard, trying to recover from his earlier drive-through. Started on pole position. Certainly wants a better result than 9th for sure. Ben chipping away back in 10th, which will eventually become 8th. I think Mark might have... Sorry, my timing screen is changing. We've got Urban, Jason Cutler, just running through the S's now. Let's go for a lap with Urban. And then of course behind Lloyd and Shane having a difficult race. But still another chance with the micro sprint. So let's see what they can do then. Let's go for a drive with Mr. Urban Ghost. See how the BMW rides over the curbs. Runs a little bit deep on Degner, but still gets it rotated, stays on track, heads on up to the hairpin. Now, excuse me, I'm just going to cut back quickly because I've just noticed our leaders are in the pits. And so Alberto goes past. Alright, so we have Alberto has gone through. Ashley takes second place, exiting the pits. Dave slots into third. Dylan fourth. Leo fifth. Les pressured hard by Richard. And then we have Glasso just coming out of the pits now. Mark Ledwidge will be coming on hot here. And Glasso gets out in front of him. Alright, bit of a mix up there with Ash slotting in between, so he's done really well. He's jumped both Dave and Dylan by going a little bit longer. Really good strategy there to find some clear air and set some fast laps and move himself into second place. Yeah, really good race pace, Chris. I agree. So let's head back to Les. So Les has been passed by Richard. Let's ride with Richard as he chases down Leo. See how the Aston's running. Possibly coming up to our last lap as well. For the leader, Alberto. Not sure if Richard's going to be close enough with only one lap to go. See what's happening here for the battle for third place with Dave and Dylan.
Leaders on final lap now.
So final lap now, one more lap now for Dylan to put pressure on Dave. Oh, he's almost done a Shane Mitchell and headed for the massive orange barrier on the inside there. Oh, that's not how you take turn one. He's trying hard though, full credit to him, and I reckon he's had a good race. So a bit of a gap there. Richard's closing right up on Leo. Can he make it a fifth position on the last lap? Getting very, very close up to Degner. It's not really a passing place here, but you can certainly come in nice and close and have to take a breath then. Get in nice and close and look for the hairpin, or then possibly pressure on the exit out of the hairpin and then run down the spoon. So he's been patient here, Richard. There we go. So the pressure's worked. Leo's gone deep. And good racecraft. Just looking for the opening and presented himself, and he took it. Alright, let's go back and give the Spaniard some airtime, because he's about to win race 2. Considering he started from right back, I think on the second to last row of the grid. Well done, Alberto. Great drive. A little bit of contact at the start to get through, then pitted early, and just kept his nose clean for the rest of it. And yeah, congratulations, mate. Great race by Ashley for second. Dave takes third place. Good little battle with Dylan for fourth. Richard comes home in a recovery drive to fifth. Leo in sixth. Les had a run up front at the start. Drops back to seventh. Mark Glasso coming around the last bend now. Take home ninth place. Followed by Ben Sherman. Urban 11th. and then rounded out by Shane Mitchell and Lloyd. There we go, race 2. Well done, guys. That's the longest race of the night. Not very long, I know, but we go back to the 10-minute micro sprint, the 5-lap Fast and the Furious next. So good way to end the night. It's been a real mix of pressure and battles, and yeah, hope you're enjoying watching it, those that are tuning in. Alright, 45 seconds until we start off with race 3, a 10-minute micro sprint. 1 stop for fuel.
30 seconds.
Normally only a 1 litre stop, so it's a quick 2-second stop in the pits, and away you go again. So really high pressure to get it right. Hopefully all the guys will get their engines started before the cut-off, and hopefully we can end up with a 13-car grid going to the line. Currently riding with Shane Mitchell in P2. Richard starts from pole due to winning tonight's earlier Suzuka Shootout. Does look like everyone has made it to the grid this time, so we'll have a fair start. Hopefully no drive-throughs over the line, and we'll have a proper battle for this final 5-lap race. The drivers will be ushered into 2x2 position once they enter the main straight here. Here we go, so they're just all brought into formation now. Hopefully they've got some sort of pressure and temperature into their tyres and brakes, ready for turn 1. Just looking for the green light for the race start. Any second now.
Green light, go, go, go.
Alright, and Alberto's already looking at racy from the back. Richard on the inside, Shane on the outside, Dave following Shane around. Shane v Dave. Leo versus Dave, and looks like Leo's got Dave this time. So we have Richard leading Shane, Leo, Dave. We've got Mark Ledwood spinning out. Contact at the back there. wait for them all to get through the first sector, and then my timing screen will be a little bit more representative. Alright, so Richard leads, Dave, Shane, then Les, Lloyd Pierce is right up there as well, Leo. Ride with Lloyd, he's doing really well, he's having a much better race 3, sorry. Alberto's there as well. Great tight racing here for these guys. Richard is making an absolute gun out front, looking to make amends for race 2. Oh, Lloyd speared into Les. What's Alberto up to? He's pushing hard, chasing up to Leo. See what the Evo can do here under brakes. I know the Audi's not brilliant under brakes, and the Ferrari, he's gone super aggressive straight in. Takes the move for 4th place. So Alberto's on a charge here. He knows he needs to get up to be able to fight Richard. So pit lane is open. Just wondering if anyone goes into the pits. So we've got Dave doing his early pit stop, and Les into the pits, and Glasso, Urban, Mark Ledwidge as well. So we've got a good chunk of drivers there. Dylan Tui's off the back there. He's pulled into the pits as well. He's probably been taken out by that first incident through the S's. So Alberto leads Leo, and with Shane Mitchell chasing hard behind. So let's ride with these boys at the moment, see how they go. Let's just watch this battle in the background here of Shane Mitchell and Ashley side by side into Degner. Shane's got a swapper on. They're still side by side. A little bit of a tap there, sends Ashley into the gravel. And we've also got Ben Sherman there as well. We might just drop back and just see if that continues. It does. Someone's spinning. That's Ben Sherman. So let's ride. We're on board with Shane Mitchell. We've got Lloyd Pierce here off the back, and with Ashley coming in behind. So with the track. Definitely struggling there. So we have Dave, the lead driver, that's come out of the pits first. Okay. And we've got Les following hard, looking for an opportunity here. We know Les has got good pace, seeing as a result of the second race. Dave's got to be one of the hardest guys to pass on the grid. I'm sure a lot of you will agree here. Dave can make that Audi about 3 times as wide as any other Audi on the circuit. Very good defensive driver. Knows where to park it on an apex, but is always very respectful as well. So yeah, this should be a good watch. Alright, so we've got Leo in the pits. Lloyd's gone into the pits as well. We'll see where they're heading off to. This looks to be like probably the battle of the race at the moment. Once again, Dave's feeling the heat. Everyone else seems to be pretty well spread out on the mini-map there in the corner, so keeping a close eye. Obviously these guys have passed the guys in the pits. What's happening out front, so get into a better car view now. We've got Richard leading from the front with Alberto approximately 4.5 seconds behind. We'll check back in on that time a little bit, see if that delta changes. Dave the Wall, Holly, yeah, pretty much. The ice wall, we'll call him. I think Glasso just had an off up Dunlop, heading up to Degner, and that is Dylan Tui getting past him there. And Leo, so he's definitely dropped some places there. Alright, we've got race leader into the pits. Alberto's continued into turn 1. Alright, so see what he can do over the last 3 minutes or so. And also Shane Mitchell has followed him in as well. So we've got Alberto out front. Bruce in the pit, Shane, Ashley, Ben Sherman. And so we've got Dave just coming up into the Casio triangle. So Richard leaves the pit, 319, and the Aston heads off to turn 1, so he's cleanly through. Let's have a look and see what happens with all these cars. Who's just Ashley's just got himself a stop-go penalty, probably speeding in the pit. High pressure this. There's your silver class champion. Once again driving a stunning race, and looks like he's solidified another podium. So great driving by Dave, probably driving with a bit of confidence tonight, which is awesome. You always feel like $1 million after you win a title, that's for sure. So yeah, Ashley maybe speeding in the pits or something like that, has picked himself up a penalty. So that's going to put Shane Mitchell into provisional 3rd place, which is great to see. Possibly not, with maybe 4th with Alberto yet to pit. Let's get out of this GT Sport camera view and go do something a bit more professional. Let's go looking for a battle. What do we got here? I think Glasso is having a bit of fun in the gravel there. Mark Legwidge going past. So the one battle that we probably have to look at, I think, is going to be divvied up via the penalty. So we've just got Alberto in the pits now, and we've got Richard coming down the main straight now. Okay, Alberto's moving from his pit box.
Give it all you can.
It's going to be very close, and Richard screams through. So Richard looking good on the last lap of the race, with Alberto a second or two behind. Good racing by these two, really pushing hard. Dave having another blinder. Ashley's taking his penalty. Shane's also had an off, which has lost a few spots. Leo's through. Urban's sitting in 8th, which will probably become 7th. Great drive. What do we got? We got Shane pressuring. Oh, actually, let's get back to Alberto. Go on board. Less than a second from the race leader on the last lap. Heads down the sprint curve. Someone's pulled over finally. That was Glasso, well done. Good respect there. There's only one more braking point down at the casino. Sorry, not casino, Casio. I think it's just a little bit too far. 0.9 of a second. You'd have to be pretty meager on the brakes to pull that in. Picked up a 10th there, into the braking zone. Richard stayed clean. They both ride the curbs well. Picked up 0.4 of a second through there. They absolutely went for it. Good driving by these two. Well done, Richard. Well done, Alberto.
Finished the race.
Trust the Spaniard, eh? Always trust the Spaniard. Here's Dave, in for another podium. Driving brilliantly tonight. Clearly ahead of Les in fourth. Following behind, we've got Ben Sherman coming away with a top 5 finish in race 3. Made one count. We've got Urban Ghost coming home in 6th place. Being pressured by Leo Dreyer behind. Dylan Tui heads over the line in 8th place. Shane Mitchell didn't quite land the front row start, but I'm sure he's had fun along the way. Lloyd Pearce had a solid first couple of laps and showed good promise, so things to build on there for sure. Ashley did get a drive through, so he got punched right all the way back, followed by Mark Legwidge, probably having troubles with his wheel to be fair, and Glasso rounding up the final results. There we have it. We have a few doughies. I'm sure the boys, regardless of the results in the race or the shootout, I'm sure they've had a bit of fun tonight, capping off a brilliant year, brilliant season with Shakedown. I'm sure all the boys appreciate how good the community is at Shakedown. Some of us are better mates with the Shakedown boys who we've never met in real life, than we certainly talk more than we do with our real blood friends, so to speak. So yeah, we certainly appreciate the community that Shakedown is, and it looks like that's timed very well, because I've just had a boot from the server. That was very well timed. So yeah, that's where I'll call it there, guys. We will be back in the new year for some community racing. We've got a multi-class series coming up in January and February, and lots of fun along the way. So yeah, hope everyone has a safe and Merry Christmas. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and thanks for the driving, guys. And yeah, thanks for being Shakedown. Really appreciate it. Cheers, guys.